Welcome to the Real Estate Proverbs Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Jefferson. Today, we have a special guest by the name of Miss Michelle Pleasant. How are you, Michelle?
Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
I'm
Finally.
finally get it done. I finally get to slow down the coach, the real estate extraordinaire, and all of the above to interview her and get to see the inside of what's going on in real estate for her. So to get started, Michelle, tell us a little bit about who you are.
So I am Michelle Pleasant, also known as AKA Coach Pleasant. I have been in the real estate business for 17 years officially in July. I am licensed in 4 states, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and Arizona. I am currently with Keller Williams here. I started with them and I'm still with them, and I'm licensed with them in Florida and Alabama as well. My mom is also a realtor in Florida. I also coach agents. I also serve on the ALC within my company. And I am also in the top 10% in my office on a monthly basis. And this is my passion. This is what I love. So here I am.
Sounds like you bleed and breathe and sleep real estate.
I've learned to have a little bit of balance since COVID, definitely. And since the market has kind of shifted and changed a little bit, I've learned to have more balance in my life and know when to cut things off.
Got you.
Yeah.
So let's start right there. I think in our industry, the all gas, no brakes is over exaggerated. And I say that because we need to rest and relax and enjoy ourselves, because you can get burnt out quickly with the intensity that we have. In our business, we don't physically work hard, but we mentally do. Because I think you'll agree, we are problem solvers, counselors, just amongst being a lender or a realtor. And sometimes you get dumped on, meaning you get a lot more information than you want from the borrower. So like you take that on along with dealing with the 200 other different things we have to deal with in the transaction. What made you change going so hard in real estate and then enjoying the fruits of your labor?
So I would say a lot of times you can get overwhelmed, which I was. One day I thought I was having a heart attack. My leg was killing me. My chest was hurting. And I called one of my girlfriends who's a nurse, and I was like, girl, I don't know what's going on. My head had started hurting really bad. And this was like earlier this year, that made me have a reality check. So she said, you got to go to the ER immediately. And when I got there, of course, they did, the EKG and everything. And they were like, nothing's wrong. They ran all the blood work and all of that stuff. And for sure, everybody said, you need to slow down, because I was working. I'm up in the morning, doing my workout or meditating, and then it's just go time, whatever is on my schedule. And so I was working sometimes till 9, 10 o'clock at night. And now it's like my clients know it is very rare that I work on a Friday, and I don't work on Saturday or Sunday. And if you want to work with me, you have to understand that you will probably not go out with me on a Saturday or Sunday unless it is truly a client that has truly requested that. And if you choose that you cannot respect my schedule or my time, then you will have to work with somebody else. I usually try to end my day at about 7 o'clock, and I teach people how to respect my time. So for me, you have to have that balance. I am going on another vacation in a week. So you have to sometimes step away and decompress from the real estate business, even if it's just taking a day where you're feeling overwhelmed. I will go to the spa, make an appointment if I'm feeling a little off, and be like, hey, do you all have any appointments available? And I will shut everything down. It'll still be there the next day when you get back. And you have to, because like you said, we take on a lot of different personalities, a lot of energies when things in real estate do not always go well. So guess what? Yes, we are the therapists. We are pulling our clients off the ledge. And there are days when my friends who are realtors have to pull me off the ledge because I want to pick up the phone and yell and say, this to my clients. And I have to make that phone call and say, this is how I'm feeling. What do I say? And they have to say, nah, we can't say that. So you have to have people in your life too that tell you too that they know when it's time for you to slow down.
So what did you do prior to real estate?
So prior to real estate, I was in retail management, and I was a manager, assistant manager, and an assistant district manager for Mimi Maternity out at Perimeter Mall. I did retail for about 16, 17 years. And I got tired of having to fly home to Florida and be back the following day for Black Friday or not being able to go home for the holidays. And so I was tired of being overworked. I was exhausted. You have to manage a lot of people. So that's why I feel like I do well with real estate, because I know how to manage a lot of different personalities. But was it really worth me making $50,000, $60,000 a year? So one of my girlfriends was like, let's go to real estate school. And I took some of my paid vacation and some of my time off, my PTO time, and took the class, got my license. And actually, a few days after I got my license, I had a client. I also had some 401k money. So I was able to give my 2 weeks and leave and start doing real estate.
Wow.
And then the market crashed.
Got you. How were you able to navigate through that time period where the market had crashed?
So I got my license in 2005. Around 2007, I was doing well. And then 2007 came and the market crashed. And I was fortunate enough to be in a great office with some great people who, we were a little bit prepared, but not 100%. But they had started doing foreclosures at the time. And there was also an opportunity for me to do BPOs. So I learned how to do the BPOs for the foreclosure listing agent. And then I would go out and show properties for her. And then she would actually allow me, her name is Desmona Fletcher. She would allow me to be her co-agent on the transaction. So I learned everything that I could. And I started doing BPOs. And by me doing BPOs, broker price opinions, I was making about $4,000 to $5,000 a month. So I did not have to go back and work a corporate job. So I was able to still do what I loved, but it was just in a different realm. And it allowed me to be able to go to Arizona and work in real estate there, because they had a really big foreclosure market. And so I started working with an agent in Arizona and running his office. And because I knew some of the asset managers within those companies, it made it easier for me to work with him and manage that business.
Gotcha. How at that point, what were the pricing points? And let's take the Atlanta market.
You could get something for 50,000, 150, 200,000. Prices had gone down really bad, but you also had to deal with, people coming in still in copper and tearing up the walls and the sheetrock. And also a lot of it was evicting people. So people who couldn't afford to live there anymore, or they hadn't paid their mortgage, we would actually have to go give them money, offer them money to move out of their place. So we had a budget. So it could have been, for this particular house, you could offer them $3,000. The max you may have been able to offer them was $5,000, and they could accept it. And if they didn't accept it, then at that point, they would start the eviction process. So during that time, it was easier to get affordable properties, but a lot of people also lost everything as well. A lot of realtors had a lot of investment properties that they could no longer afford. So you started seeing tons of properties coming on the market for like under 50, 60, 60,000.
So when do you think you saw the prices start to uptick, like to get out of that foreclosure period of time into what we would call a normal market?
So I would say I moved to Arizona in 2010, 2011-ish, 12. The agent that I was working for at the time, he was no longer getting as many foreclosures at that time. So I would probably say in that Arizona market around 2012. Now, when I came back to Atlanta in 2015, the market was pretty much stabilizing at that point.
Okay. And the market in Atlanta 2015 was stabilizing. What was inventory like at that point?
We had way more inventory than we had today. You could easily go out and find your buyer a house and you would be under contract within a day or two. Houses sat on the market a little bit longer because there was a lot more inventory. So buyers had a lot more to choose from than they do today. You know, this market today is super crazy. It's really, you got to have relationships with agents. I am very big on that because a lot of times when you do know other agents, they know how you run your business. It may be easier for you to be able to negotiate your deal and win the deal, but it's a totally different market. Back then, you might have had, you know, right now we have 30 days worth of inventory, maybe even 2 weeks. Back then, you had 6 months worth of inventory. So it was a lot to choose from. And builders were building. You know, you didn't have to negotiate the price with the builder or come in at your highest and best. So it was definitely different than it is today.
And you said something that was key in terms of building your business. Do you think that our industry is looked more at as a hobby and sales as opposed to it being a legitimate business? From the from the agent standpoint, we understand brokers run it as a business, but us as agents, do you think we understand or that people understand that we are independent contractors and business owners?
I'm going to tell you from the people that I know, my clients and my friends, they know that I run a business and this is like my livelihood and this is what I do. And they respect it. They respect my time. A lot of times they'll send me a text or call me and say, hey, can I get on your schedule? Can we do something this weekend? Are you available? My clients respect that I run a business as well. And it's really the expectations and the standards that you set in this business on how people look at you. And so if they feel like you don't know what you're talking about, because I do educate my clients, I educate other agents. So I add value. And so I stand out because of that. And we are in a world right now where there's so much social media and everybody wants to get their real estate license because they see all the glitz and glam. This business, I posted something the other day. This business is not for the weak. It is not for the glitz and glam. You know, I had a closing 2 weeks ago where I had to go over to a property and move stuff out. And luckily I had tennis shoes on and something told me to wear something different. I was dirty and I had to run home, take a shower and be to a closing probably within 30 minutes. And it was not pretty at all. You know, this business is, things may not go the way you expect it to go. You may go, like I said, get to a house and something needs to be moved all the way out. A seller or a buyer may not want to close. And so for me, I'd like to talk about the reality of real estate. And it is not, you know, what everybody thinks like, oh, you're just going out getting a check and you don't have to work hard. You do work hard. I know I do. I work for it and I build the relationships with my clients. And that's what helped me sustain also during COVID. I will say I made a lot of phone calls. I dropped off care packages to past clients. And when this world opened back up, a lot of my clients had kids who were coming home from college and they needed more space. So guess what? They had equity in their house and we were able to find them properties because they trusted me. And because I did stay in touch with them, even during the worst times that we were going through as a country, they respected that. So they wanted somebody who truly understood what they needed.
Wow. And that's a different level of customer service. Do you think that level of customer service came from your retail background, or was that just how you've established yourself?
So how I've always grown up is like, even when you go to somebody's house, you take something. If you're going to their house to visit, I may come with flowers. Like when I go to my girlfriend's houses and they're having something, I'll bring flowers and wine. Or if I'm just going to somebody that I don't know, I take something. So I've always been known to have a giving heart and care about others. And sometimes has it gotten me in trouble? Sometimes yes, but that's just the person that I am. I actually won the Culture Award for Keller Williams. It's the Y4C2 T's Award. And one thing that I didn't realize is that when we were not coming to the office, we do something called coffee talk. So some of the agents, I would hear them say, "Oh, I have COVID." And I would send them a little message and say, "Hey, what's your address?" And they would tell me, and I would go to the store and get them a care basket and drop it off at their house. Well, I didn't know that they had told our administrative team. And so when they gave the award, they were like, our team leader was like, I would get calls saying Michelle Pleasant came and dropped this off to me. And I didn't do it because I wanted recognition. I did it because somebody actually did it for me when I got COVID. They came, they dropped a big care package off. My friends were sending things. So for me, it's just something that I was raised, just making sure people were okay.
That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
So you are, I've watched you move. You know what I mean? The last couple of years, I've heard your name, and we've never formally met in person. But I've heard some amazing things from you. Of you. I've interviewed one of your clients on the show, and what I gather from everyone is that you're very big in pushing Black real estate agents.
Yes.
And with that being said, and I say it, and people listening to the episode or hear it over and over, I started this podcast to highlight African-American real estate professionals.
Exactly.
I've been in the industry since 2004. And I've listened to, I don't know how many podcasts, and I don't ever remember hearing any of us on there. And, at the time, I was a producing agent back in Delaware. And I had actually, crazy part is I was with Keller Williams for a brief period of time, and I had never heard of Emmerich Peace.
What?
I never heard of Emmerich Peace.
That's one of my mentors, actually. So he is one of my mentors. I met him in Maryland. They had an event and I was invited. It was 4th of July. It was right after 4th of July. And I think that was probably in 2017, maybe. And my coach at the time said, "Hey, there's an event this weekend. It's right after 4th of July. Can you come to Maryland?" And I was like, "I'm just coming back from vacation. I'll let you know." And I actually was like, "You know what? It's an opportunity. Let me go ahead and go." And I did. And I met Emmerich at that time. And so we have been connected ever since. Sometimes I can call him early in the morning while he's taking his walk, and we'll talk through things, or he'll just call and check on me. And so I truly respect him, who he is, what he does for this industry. And yep, he is the godfather of real estate in that Baltimore, DC area.
Yeah, he is. He's an amazing guy. I had met him, I think 2019 at an event. He was speaking. I had heard of him. Yep, in Atlanta. Yep, in Atlanta at the NAMBA.
Yes.
Yeah.
He actually has come in to speak for some of my agents the day before, and then he had that meeting the next day.
Yep. So we, I connected. He was actually the first guest on my podcast.
Wow.
It was first guest, and he has a similar agenda in terms of pushing us forward.
Yes.
So with my audience being African American, and this information can help anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think we aren't progressing in this industry the way we can?
Do you mean us coming together to progress?
Us coming together to progress, along with at the last study that I saw from NAR,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of income,
Mm-hmm.
we were at the bottom, right? Associate that with the fact that as African Americans, we own less land than we did 100 years ago.
Yes.
And the gap between home ownership with African Americans and our white counterparts is a 30% gap.
Yeah. And
However,
I would honestly say, go ahead.
However, we've got the most spending power out of anybody. We spend the most money. What can we do? I guess those are a lot of things. So let me narrow it down. How can we progress better as real estate professionals, period? Like, how can we be better at our craft? Because I know there's some amazing people who just don't have, there's something missing that they can't get to that next level.
You know, a lot of times I think, especially our younger agents, they want it now, right? Because they see us seasoned agents closing deals and doing all of that stuff. But our business has truly been built off of relationships. You know, for me, I farm a community, but I build relationships, not just with my past clients, but agents in other cities, you know, even agents in this city. Even though I work for another company, I have colleagues who have become friends that we bounce things off of each other. We share information. And that's the thing, is that a lot of times we don't want to share in the fear of thinking somebody else is going to do better than us. And for me, people often ask, why do you share so much information? You need to constantly make people pay, which I do sometimes, but I want to give them something that I didn't get when I first got into the business. Nobody really helped me. And I think for us also with home ownership and investments, I feel like we look and see what's going on social media and want to go buy the latest bags, shoes, cars, and instead of investing it in real estate. And I say that to say, two of my clients right now, I have a client, she's 33 years old. She's a Black athlete. She bought up the block in 2012. She went and bought a whole bunch of lots for under 80,000 in Vine City. Guess what? She's building on those lots now. And her mindset was, what am I going to do after I finish running track? But she also had a strong family backing behind her that said, this is what you need to do. Now, I will tell you, there are some agents who are doing it, but I think that we have to come together collectively and talk more about the home ownership, more about investments. How can we come together? And there's a project that's probably going to happen soon where somebody is doing that, where it's really teaching agents how to invest more in real estate and what that looks like instead of investing in other things.
Right. So I remember it was last year, Emmerich posted in a Black Real Estate Network group. Who do you know that has done, or if you've done $15 million in sales in XYZ year, please post. We've got an award that we're trying to give out.
Exactly.
6,200 of us in that group. He got 6 responses and 2 of them came from me.
I saw it. I
Like,
saw
those are the things that are baffling to me. You have an opportunity to get an award
it.
for your production. So one or two things I gather from that post.
Mm-hmm.
Either we don't have anybody doing $15 million in production a year, or we don't know anybody doing $15 million in production a year. Right?
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
So for me, I saw that post and I couldn't raise my hand because that year I had only done a little under 10 million. And so I also didn't have a coach as well, right? And I really, even though I'm always talking to other people about it, I wasn't 100% where I needed to be and knowing what I needed to do to go to the next level, right? So for me now, I hired a coach in October of last year. I am slated to do 18 million this year. He pushes me. I have to know my numbers. I have to know how many appointments I need to go on. Am I making my phone calls? What does my profit and loss statement look like? Where do I want to be in the next 5 years? And so I'm saying that to say, if they don't really know how to manage their business and what that looks like, then maybe they don't know how to get to 14 or 15 million. I've done it long enough where I know what to do. And it's really, you have to have discipline. You got to be willing to get up, show up, and put in the work. And a lot of these newer agents, it's a lot that are doing amazing, that are young, that are out there making it happen. But there are also some that just want it to be given to them. And nobody's going to give you anything. You got to get up, work, and show up every day. And that's what I do. I'm the rainmaker in my business. So I have to make sure that every day I get up, I know what I need to do so that I can meet and make that 18 million.
Got you. Mm-hmm. So I posted maybe last week in two of those groups. One with 8,000 some people, and one with around the 6,200. And it might not have been 6,200 when he posted, but it was close to $6,000. And I posted, "Why are you in this group?"
And what did they say?
To network with people like-minded, to learn from experienced agents. Mm-hmm. But you know how many comments I got, Michelle? Less than 10. But if you
they want to see something different. But go ahead, I'm listening. I would tell you about the different, but go ahead and tell me.
So from that, I'm like, are we grinding that hard where we're not in that group? And if so, that's great. Mm-hmm. Or did we just join and really didn't want anything out of it? Because I see a similar group that's mixed, where some of the same people in that group comment. And the questions are not really any different. The information given is not really any different in terms of scenarios. So like I said all that to say, I feel like we have these groups with thousands of people and we still not collectively helping each other. We're talking about people from all across the country.
So I would tell you that I am actually getting on a call after this call about what you're talking about, because sometimes, and not saying there is division, but sometimes when things get so big, people decide to do other things and it can cause people to be removed from some of those groups, meaning they're still there. But it's like, okay, let me move over here where there's a little bit more positivity going on and more things that I feel like someone else, a different culture is teaching me. Me personally, I post on social media, but I am not fully active in some of those groups. I just don't have the time because I'm out here trying to meet my numbers. And is that the best use of my time to sit on social media and see what other people have going on? Now, I will contribute, but a lot of times for me, even when people are tagging me in posts about referrals, I might not even see the post until the next day. Like my mom will tag me and other agents that I've referred business to. And a lot of times I have to tell them, send me a text to let me know that you tag me, because the only time I may really sit and be on social media, I might be at the hair salon and I might be like, let me see what's going on, or I finish my day and just want to see what craziness or something, or see what I can learn, then I'll look in there. And that may be it. Some of us may be that busy that they can't be. I am on social media in the morning. I will tell you, in a group with James Shaw, because I do get a lot of information from that group at 7:30 in the morning. But by 9 o'clock, I'm out in the field managing my day. So, and yes, we're sharing the same information, but I will also say that sometimes too, like even with the referrals, I hear this all the time. The same people get named in the same referrals. Well, guess what? You need to go into these people's inboxes and start calling them, getting to know them, letting them know who you are. So when referrals come up in your market, in your area, you're already top of mind. I have over 1,800 agents within the city and out of state that I send touches to twice a month. I know when their birthdays are. I done went through their whole Facebook page, found out when their birthday is, and I send them messages like happy birthday, and they actually respond back. They get an email from me, or my assistant will say, hey, so-and-so's birthday is coming up. Make sure you either shoot them a text or give them a phone call. So you got to put in the work and be engaged. And I think sometimes because they're not seeing the results, because they're not putting in the work, they're not involved.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So I get it. I understand that you can't be on social media all the time and being a high producing agent. I just feel like we need more of that. Like we need more connections, right? It may happen outside of social media in different parts of the country, but I feel like those groups makes the world small. You know, it allows for us to, if let's say you're here in Atlanta and you post something, somebody from Arizona can see it and then be inspired, or they may not have had the opportunity or had no one who looked like them to say, oh, I'm gonna reach out to Michelle Pleasant because she looks like me, she's having success, and I like her style. It's easier for them to get business.
And I will say this. So, like, even for me on social media, I don't have a ton of followers, but if I know a lot of people, I'm connected with people, and I can be out places and people will be like, oh my God, you're Michelle Pleasant. And I'm like, hey, where we know each other from, because I don't know the person. And they're like, oh, I follow you on social media. I did a speaking engagement and half of the room was like, I follow you on social media. So even though people aren't sometimes interacting, they are listening. They just may not want you to know that they really do admire that person or they're learning from that person. And you do have some agents who are on social media where they have a ton of followers and people, are learning things from them. It's social media has changed things. I will put it that way. When we got into the business, we didn't have social media. I was popping before social media. So I just, how do we fix it? We just have to continue to do things like this podcast and share share our knowledge in the industry and let people know that, hey, I'm available if you need me, and calling other agents and having that conversation. How can I help you grow your business in 2022? We're halfway through the year. What can I do to help you grow your business so that you can meet your numbers? Or calling to find out what's going on in their markets and everything. It's up to you to do it. And that's what I will tell you. You have to stay engaged. You got to connect with people, and they have to trust you.
Yeah, that's the key. Like, people trusting you. And I think that when you're going for a listing or working with a buyer and trying to get them to purchase a home, high pressure and fear of loss, becomes car salesman-ish, right? And I think that, like, from the lending standpoint, someone asked me a question about buying now, and I'll tell them the truth.
Yeah.
What's your situation as far as your rental? How much do you pay a month? And I pay $2,100 a month, and my landlord is going to go up. You should try to buy.
Yeah.
I pay $1,000 a month, and my landlord is going to go up $200. You should stay renting, because you're not going to find anything for $1,200. I would love to close that loan, but in reality, what are they going to find?
Yeah.
Like, stay put, and take, if you're paying $1,200 a month, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
That's a bonus.
You gotta educate them. You gotta educate people. And a lot of times, when you ask about other agents and why can't we collectively come together, I think that sometimes we just don't know. We're not educated on it. And so we have to be the ones to really educate other agents and say, how can we make money together? And that's the thing. We're afraid that I said it earlier, that the other person gonna make more money than me. I went to something that was called Shark Tank that our ALC did. And there were 4 guys in 2019. They came to that same Shark Tank. They were trying to figure out what in the world were they going to do in their business, because things were changing a little bit. They weren't sure how the market was going to be. And guess what happened? They didn't really have any money. A young lady walked into the office. She had 17 properties that she needed to list into the AL in the MLS. And one of the guys happened to be walking through the office. And he was like, I don't even have the money to buy these 17 properties. He made one phone call. Somebody else had the money. Him and his 4 partners, guess how much they put into the deal? $100 each. 2019, I'm not finished. 2019, 17 properties. The investor, somebody who trusted them, said, I'm gonna front this money, right? 2020, we just had this Shark Tank. They had 100 properties as of January. The person who invested the money, they were ready to take some of their money out. They sold 45 other properties. That person made about 1.5, 1.6 million. They still have 55 properties left. Guess how much they owe on those 55 properties?
$100.
Listen, 55 properties, $500,000.
That's crazy.
And that's the thing. We gotta have, Emmerich says, money will take you place, relationships will take you places, money will not. So you have to build off of those relationships. And I can even say today, just off of a relationship, I have the potential to have a new subdivision for affordable housing coming up, just off of a relationship. So I stay connected with people no matter when I've known them, what part of my life that I've met them in. And I get business from even people that I've known since 1996. when I moved to Atlanta. And they follow me on social media and they send me business.
Wow.
And just because of a relationship with somebody that we happened to be in church, she was in the midst of changing her life in 2015. I gave this young lady a book. She still has this book to this day. We talk often. She said, you helped me you saved my life. She said, so I always want to see you win. She referred somebody to me. I listed a condo for them. This person, they're Black. He said, you know what? I like the way you do business. You're honest. He said, let me tell you a little bit about me and what I do. And we just talked probably 2 days ago. And so there is possibly an opportunity for me to be able to list these properties that are coming up.
Relationships.
So it's really the relationships, but also people have to trust you in order to give you their money.
Right.
We got to learn how to trust each other and support each other so that we can do business together and know that everybody can win. It's enough money for all of us to make.
Right. So I'm a new agent. I'm an agent, whether I'm old or new, but I'm not having a lot of success in real estate. I sell one or two here and there. I haven't fully left my job, and I want to build up my business so I can eventually leave my job. What would Coach Pleasant tell this person to do in the beginning?
I would ask them how much are they currently making at their corporate job, and what would it take for them to leave that job? And are you disciplined enough that when you leave that job during the day, or if you're going on your lunch break, are you willing to get on the phone and make phone calls? Are you willing to go out there and show properties? You know, are you willing to work for it? Are you willing to sacrifice your weekends to make sure that you do what you need to do? Are you willing to take classes at night to learn and educate yourself? And see, a lot of people aren't willing to do that because they're used to having that steady income. And you got to have a little bit of hustle in you too. So, and if you have sometimes people who have a spouse, they know that, hey, you know, I know that my spouse is going to be here to help me, and you got to have a partnership. So if that person says, I got your back, you got to know that somebody has your back as well. But you also have to have a plan first. What is your plan? And are you willing to sacrifice, even if just like we tell buyers who need to get their credit together, are you willing to sacrifice for 6 months and act like you broke so you can get this house and save up? So you have to do it. And I can honestly say I have 2 agents that were with me at another company. This one girl would leave her job on her lunch break, come to the office or go show properties. She said, my goal is to leave this job in 6 months. She left it in 4 because she had already made $60,000.
Wow.
And she don't look like me.
Okay. Now, with that being said, at what point do you think an agent needs to tap into coaching?
I think as soon as you get into business, you need to get into some kind of productivity coaching or have an accountability partner. You know, there are a few companies that do offer that, but here's the other thing. Agents don't want to give up their money. They think about, oh, I got to give this person 10%, and then I got to give my broker 30%, and then my check only looks like this. But guess what? If you're doing everything that you need to do and you know what the plan is, you're not going to worry about how much money you're going to spend, because once you've given that money back to that company, everything else is yours. Don't worry about the money. I will tell agents this, don't worry about the money will come. But if you have to pay for something, if you have to pay someone to get the information and the training that you need, do it. I pay a coach every month. and I don't even blink about it because I know what they are giving me, what they're providing me. And sometimes we don't want to pay people. You might pay somebody else, but you might not pay me. And I'm going to be honest with you. A young lady sent me a message and said, hey, I need help doing A, B, and C, and I would like to talk to you. I sent her a message and said, for 45 minutes of my time, it's $250. Click on the Calendly link and schedule your appointment. Guess what? She didn't do it, but you'll go pay somebody else $1,000 to hear something that may not even be helpful for you. So I've had to learn, even though I share a lot, I also have to protect my time. And so if people aren't willing to pay for you to help them sometimes, then they're really not investing in themselves. You got to invest in your business. You'll get the money back tenfold. I invested in my business 100% by hiring a new coach last year, and I will do 18 million. He pushes me. He holds me accountable.
And that's key. Like, you're right. A lot of times, and I take coaching as a loan officer. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the year, you're asking, man, I need more deductions. You should have invested in coaching or something in your business. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can write off those trips, but those trips don't bring you back money. Mm-hmm. Like investing in the coaching and break it down monthly, or just like, let's say coaching for the year, $6,000, mm-hmm. 1 or 2 sales, and just set that to the side. So if anything happens, you just go into that account that is assigned for coaching and then just pay your coach. Because if you have a good coach and you do what the coach tells you to do, you'll get that $6,000 back in no time.
Immediately. You'll get it back within 30 days. And I know some people who I've talked to them about investing in real estate, and they have the money to do it. They're just afraid to spend the money. The money just sitting there. Yes. I'm like, you could invest this money and buy 3 or 4 investment properties, even flip one, pay the other 2 off, and now you have residual income coming in. Real estate is always going to bring you money some kind of way. And I think too, we're afraid to invest and see the return on our investment. Everybody else does. We just don't see it. And we got to get better at coming together as a unit. We feel like everybody else is fighting against us, but we can't even come together with each other. And so for me, I'm always open to listening to an opportunity, and I will tell you yes or no. If you have questions and you need help with something, I'm going to be willing to help you, but I got to know that you have some kind of skin in the game. See, when you have skin in the game, then you're willing to work a little bit harder.
True. And that's that thing. I think sometimes that skin pushes you because you're like, I'm not wasting that money I invested. I got it. I have to do it. That's why, you listen to some of these coaches and producers talk about investing in their business because you don't want to lose what you put in. Mm-hmm. But if you haven't put anything in, it's hard to put out extra because you don't have anything to lose. That's just like if you gave me your coaching program or your coaching outline and say, here, Kevin, utilize this to grow your business. I haven't paid you anything for it, so I'm probably not going to take it as serious as if you say, hey, Kevin, here's the outline, here's the invoice. Yeah. And if I pay the invoice and you give me the outline, then I'm looking at it a little differently because I've invested this money and I need to get my return on investment. And that's when you work harder. So that's why, like, I get it. There's some information that we can give to each other for free. But if someone wants to sit down and pick your brain and just one more question, that's when I agree they should get the invoice. And
I will tell you this, over the last 3 or 4 years, some agents that I have coached, I would probably say about 10 of them, these young ladies are blowing it out the box. I am so proud of them. We talk often. We are not all with the same company. They're with different companies. Some of them have opened their own companies. And they tell me, one of them was like, you changed the trajectory of my life, my husband and my kids' life. You know, just things that you said to me. And I'm a straight shooter. Show up, make the phone calls. We about to go into a shift. I don't see nobody in this office making no phone calls. Ain't nobody in my office. I have 2 agents. They ain't here.
Right.
You know, so if I'm giving you the tools and you're not using them, why should I do this? So again, when they don't have any skin in the game, and if you got to have the hustle and drive and the determination, if you know that you want your life to change, your children's life to change, what is your life going to look like in 5 years? What is your life going to look like in 10 years? I don't want to be doing real estate in 10 years. You know, in the next 3 years, I want my mama to be done with real estate and just let the team run her business. She is still active. She is a top producer in Florida. She's been in the business 16 years, and we talk with each other about our business, what's going on. So you gotta, if you want it, you will do it.
Agreed. So for anyone who wants to connect with you, engage with you, how can they reach you?
My IG handle is I am Michelle Pleasant on Instagram. You can also call me at 404-667-3200, or you can email me at thepleasantgroup@gmail.com. I do have a coaching program. It's called Resource Coaching and Development. And so you can definitely reach me. And if they have questions, call me. I'm here, but you got to be committed and you got to make the sacrifice. A lot of people, they start off doing it and then they want to stop because they don't see the results right away. But guess what? Even the agents who are top producers that I've coached, some of them, it took them 9 months for the light bulb to go off. They wanted to give up. And I'm like, what did you start this for? So you got to be committed and you got to be determined and you got to have discipline. And if this is not what you want to do, don't do it. Don't get into this business just to make money, because it's not about money. You build the relationships, the money will come.
And that's a great stopping point. You've been listening to the Real Estate Proverbs podcast. Go build some relationships. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Real Estate Proverbs podcast with Kevin Jefferson. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when the latest video drops.